Last day of the school tour, and I'm feeling that we've achieved quite a lot this week. Achieved a lot that I never expected to really fit. Some stuff that I never thought I'd feel, stuff that I thought I'd never see. And I think I talked about at the start of this a direction. I wasn't sure on the direction of where I was going. And this point we're at now is not where I thought we'd be. Yeah.
We were saying on the way here to the school today that we started the week. We did actually start the week with a plan that we'd discussed for about 2 months. Like, it'd been building up to creating that plan for 2 months. For our original call with Richard and Lee and me, sort of, here's the direction we're going to go. And actually getting on the road is where you learn. And I think what's been a really important learning for us as a team is that change can only happen if you get on the ground.
Yeah, this shapes it.
Yeah.
Only from doing this do we actually learn what works, what doesn't work, how schools work as a whole as well. And so yeah, it's been really helpful this week. It's really helpful to sort of really see the future of what we're trying to achieve.
I think what's cool about this, the Skinny Jean Garden tour this week, is that it was 5 years ago since we last came out, and we're gonna see what the impact is, not in 5 years' time, but in a year's time now.
Yeah.
So we're accelerating. This is not a standing start. Let's just say that.
My name is Mrs. J and I'm feeling okay. My other half is Mrs. M and she's a real gem. Hanging next door is a skipping dude. Mr. G likes to rap but is never rude.
Ride and fun in writing week and share a little passion like you can tweak. We like to do our learning outside, you know. We like to do it out in the rain and the snow. This isn't as crazy as you may believe, as it helps our rain function and our faces beat.
Down in year 3 we like climbing trees. Climbing up high we can smell the fire. Using mud to make our paints and playing with our super mates.
We like to make swings out of massive tires and all sorts of crafted in wood and wire. We saw a little mouse who was making a house, hanging out with a fox wearing pink socks. What bugs are our mates? We ain't thinking they're not great. Slugs and snails are great friends. What makes them cool is they live in our dens. So we're calling on fun in writing week and share a little passion that you can tweak. We like to do it running outside, you know. We like to do it out in the rain and the snow. This isn't quite as crazy as you may believe, as it helps the brains function and our faces beam.
Science and
English outside are great when you do these lessons with your mates. We wrote some poems all about trees and we're lucky enough to hear bugs and bees. Love the thing that makes you twinkle, have some fun or you'll get wrinkled.
Yeah, there's been a lot of learning, isn't there, through this? And firstly, if I'm honest with you, one of the biggest things that I have learned from it is that a logo, a badge, means a lot. Like, children put a lot of I don't know what I'm trying to say, like a lot of
authority, emphasis.
Yeah, not like they really feel trust. A lot of trust with it is what I'm trying to say. Okay, a lot of trust with something, and perhaps I've known that for a little bit, but I really now feel that this Skinny Jean Garden means trust. So everything that I do, everything that I am asking teachers and parents to do, they're trusting me because as an expert in this world. I think that's really important, because when we talk about successes and we talk about growing successes, sometimes plants fail, but humans and people shouldn't let you down.
So, what are you saying? You're going to bring out your own badge?
Yeah. I think why not? Because I think over the years I've built that trust, and when I see these kids, it's like I feel like I want to be able to say, look, yeah, like, well done for what you're doing. Like, you're really pioneering in gardening within your school. You're the ones pushing it, and the teachers too, but the children are the ones speaking to teachers. So yeah, why shouldn't they be rewarded with something and feel like they're part of something as well around the country, like part of something that is pushing all in the same direction. Like when we've talked quite a lot about, sometimes it feels like a lot on just one person. There's a lot of work to do, and really it's not just on me. We've got all these children, all at schools, all doing the work. They're already pushing it.
Yeah.
I'm not on my own. I've got you guys, obviously, but also we've got all of these children. That
It's like, it's also, I think what's changed is that it's celebrating what is being done, even in the smallest form. Instead of being like, what you're doing is not great, but we've got the solution. Actually, it's about, let's just champion what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of schools are doing stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on.
I don't have my
What do you think the impact is for the children?
I think for the kids,
activity.
I think because we've got potatoes, we've got strawberries growing, they know we've got the fruit trees going, we've done the funky veg that came in as well that Lee got for us, and it's just that you can take something home, you can grow it, some kids leave it in school and we look after it, some take it home, they know they can grow something and they could possibly eat it.
So it means this like little activity kind of gives the children hope?
Yeah, and there's a chance that it's something it might not necessarily do with their parents now, because their parents might not be gardeners, but if places like schools and scouts and camps and brownies and all of that are doing a little tiny bit each year or every little bit, then the kids have got something to say, I can do that, I could be a gardener, I can have a go at it. Or they take their pot home and they go, Mum, I need to look after this. But it's just that it is fun and it's accessible by everybody. And please, parents, have a go at home as well. Even if it's a bean, I mean, the early years do Jack and the Beanstalk. They've all taken home their beanstalk. They've planted that at school. They're taking that home. So yeah,
That's really important. It's not just the school's responsibility.
No. If we want, you know, the kids will go on about being TikTokers and YouTubers and that's encouraged, or they have that at home. Actually, you've got a child that wants to garden with them. There's nothing better than seeing a tiny seed. Or, you know, if you put a broad bean in a pot, in a glass pot, and then watch those seeds come, watch it turn around and you turn it upside down, and watch it burn. And it's absolutely fantastic. And even better when you can eat what you have grown.
I think what we're seeing, we've not gone around to schools this year and seen people not doing anything.
They're doing
something.
So I think school gardening success, because that's like one of the things that came out of the last film, was the school garden success plan. But actually, yeah, we have a plan. We have some stuff that can get you going. But actually, school garden success is celebrating the success of what is actually happening already there.
Yeah.
And the badge is a recognition of that.
Yeah.
Of like the gardener we saw yesterday, I think, who kind of the head gardener, that kid who was the head gardener, like
Alfie, who was looking after that whole area.
Like that is school garden success. He doesn't need you coming in and going, actually no, I've got something.
Here's more.
Here's more.
Like,
Let's celebrate.
You're actually doing well. You're doing amazing stuff for this school. You should be recognised for that.
Yeah. So the badge becomes a recognition of what you're already doing, which is a success.
Yeah.
Instead of coming in and being like, I've got a better idea.
Yeah. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah.
And also, we've been chatting to so many teachers, so many children.
Yeah.
And sometimes them chats are very nice and slow, and the children just want to tell you about their gardens, and they're so proud of it. And we just sit there and we listen to them. And I think that is amazing. I think that is that is what we're highlighting through this documentary. I think that is exactly what needs to be shown to inspire other schools and other people.
I think back even to and we discussed it, didn't we, about Millie in one of the schools who was chatting to me about just some onions that her and her granddad had been growing. Even as I say it, just onions. No, the onions that Millie was growing. And what Millie doesn't need is someone coming and going, all right, well that's just onions. Here we go.
Yeah, have this.
Yeah, have all this. But actually, the onions, that is a success, and she should get a badge. I think Alfie and Millie should be some of the first to get the badge. And on the other side of that, us coming and doing these garden parties is actually it's an opportunity just to prompt people, to get growing, without telling people. We're just inspiring people.
Having fun.
Having fun. And it is fun, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Richard?
Making a memory, isn't it? It's just making a memory.
The amount of dancing that Richard's captured from some of our sponsors who joined us, Nigel, who joined from teachers, children.
We've seen Richard dance too much, so have we?
I can't when I'm holding the camera.
Or flying a drone.
Or flying a drone.
So yeah, I think maybe what this is not a session anymore. This is a garden party.
Yeah,
we're bringing
gardening party.
A gardening party.
This is the start point for every school to really get excited, and that's what gardening should be.
There's two things going on. We've developed a gardening party. We've developed a way to recognise the success that's already happening in schools.
Love it. You guys bring so much energy into school always, and it just hypes the children up, but in a really good way. Like just getting them just enjoy. It's like gardening. It's got too many connotations of old people doing their gardening when they've retired. And it's like, no, this is fun. Look how much fun we've had in such a short space of time. The energy is crazy high. They're going to go back to their parents and go, look, let's plant these somewhere else, in the high-pitched voice. So they're going to love it. And that's what gardening should be about: joy and fun and complete enjoyment of everybody. There's no outsiders here. It's complete inclusivity.
What really struck me today is we've just done the Amazon rainforest in school, and all we've heard about is an area the size of a football pitch is chopped down every 20 minutes. And then you very cleverly said, we have planted 2 football pitches worth of wild seeds. So that was very relatable for all the year 5s.
That's brilliant.
That's really.
How do we ensure that connection between what goes on in school and what goes on at home? How can we make sure that what we've created here continues?
It's that constant communication, isn't it? The constant communication with families, but the community as well, getting everybody involved, not just going, oh, we've done it, they go, and don't talk about it again. That constant needs to be
talked about.
Making it accessible.
Yeah.
In that the funky veg we got, you've got everything you need.
Yes.
You just had to water it, and it's making that. I know lots of children in our class did it at home, wouldn't necessarily, they might live in flats, they didn't have gardens, but they had everything they needed to be able to do that. So it's not just saying, oh, why don't you go and grow some veg? That would be good for the planet. It's actually giving that accessibility.
I know the pressures that you have and Catherine has, and then Lee's trying to get into the curriculum, and then we all talk about how to get kids gardening. You've got Chelsea Flowers Show and they're going, we're going to get kids gardening, and then it's like nothing happens. Like, so I want to know, from you working at school, I'm so confused by it. I'm so confused about how to get kids gardening in the curriculum. I just don't know how, like, and you said could. You said it could.
We can do it. The curriculum is rammed. We are completely rammed with everything that we need to teach the children massively. The government need to look at that. That's a change that needs to happen. That's a no-brainer. There are so many skills that aren't in the curriculum that we need to have in there. That needs a shake-up. That's long-term. That's the ideal, isn't it? Long-term. But in this short interim period of the short-term thing, we've got to get creative. Teachers have just got to try, and they are under so much pressure of being creative within something, an English writing poetry like project about gardening, but let's immerse ourselves in it first to be able to write about it. You know, it's kind of going, how can we get it in somehow until actually someone up there right at the top of the chain goes, oh, something needs to change. Let us put all of these extra bits in that the children are crying out for. We've got to be creative, and it's hard because on top of everything else it just becomes sometimes too much, and it doesn't happen, which makes it just incredibly sad for all the children that haven't got the teachers that have got the capacity to do it.
I think one of the things that and we've talked about it, I've talked to the guys about this quite a lot as we go around, is agents of change. Because I think it was quite uniquely sat and created something that's really quite powerful. So how can we get other schools, well, one, what is agents of change, and how can we get other schools involved in that?
Agents of Change is an initiative that was born during COVID to get children active and doing things, and it's really evolved into and blossomed into the most amazing projects that are now not just in our founder school but in other local schools as well, and growing, which is really good. It encourages children to do that a little bit more, to be agents of their own change, of the change around them, whether it be small within themselves, their class, their family, or out into the community and wider, and even across the world. We encourage children to be advocates of that, of just so much. And the projects that we've got, there are 40, and they can be used in lots of different ways within the curriculum. And so very much like gardening, you know, there might be, one of our projects is create a project that supports someone's well-being.
Something that's a theme that's run throughout this week is the power of the badge. So how do children feel when they are able to get a badge from doing something good?
Absolutely incredible. You would have seen how many children have got their badges, have got their badges on. Teachers have got their badges on. We absolutely love it. They do their 7 projects, they'll get their 7 stamps, and then they can get their pin badge. And it makes them feel amazing. But then it starts conversations again, like, oh, what badge did you get? How did you get it? You know, so and the parents, oh, you've got a badge. It just keeps rippling because we want the conversations, because that is the way the information is going to get there. I've done this amazing gardening project, you know, I've done this amazing over in the community project. I wrote to a politician, you know, there's so many amazing things that they do. And yes, they've got their rewards from doing it, but they've got their little pin badge, which they love. They want to collect them all.
Actually, it doesn't matter how big or small the thing is they've done.
No.
That encourages more. It doesn't have to be a huge, life-changing, world-changing thing. Actually, I'm part of doing a small thing, and I can see.
It's all about the ripples. It is all about the ripples, and I think, you know, this is what you're ultimately starting. You're dropping that one drip to make all of those ripples, and all of these children just drop one tiny little drip. The ripples of change that we can make are just massive, absolutely huge, and we've got to really believe in that. We believe in that. They're going to believe in that.
Me and Leah, by the way, me and Leah smiling because this is our last school that we've been to, and we started the week in a bit of confusion about what's next for the Skinny Jean Gardener, and we're smiling because a lot of what you've all shared today is I can't think of the word right now.
Where we're currently thinking of heading.
Yeah, and it's also supporting what we're thinking, where we're going to head next. So that's why me and Leah are smiling, because we're kind of happy that a lot of what is said is. I can't think of the words. Sorry. I'm out of words. Thank you. On the same page.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
We are on the same page, but it needs teams to be on the same page, doesn't it? We need groups to come together, schools to support each other. You are supporting schools. You need all of that because we can't do this alone. One teacher can't do this alone. We all need help together. We're starting it though. We're starting it. We're making the change.
Making the change. The badge is the recognition of schools already making gardening a success.
Yeah.
Because I was saying to Richard in that last interview, the teacher was saying that if we were going to write a poem about gardening, then to write that poem about gardening we'd immerse ourselves in a garden. And only a teacher within the context of that class would know that.
Yeah.
And like she was saying, that you can't just say this is what you got to do, because there's all these year groups.
I think off the back of that as well is I think one thing that we're seeing is every setting's different. So when we say let's get kids gardening, there's not a cookie cutter.
No.
For every, there's not every school can do this just through this way. Every school we've been to this week has been different, and by just saying let's get kids gardening doesn't really work. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Just saying let's get kids gardening. Right, well, everyone's different. And that's a big learning curve this week.
Everyone's different. Every school community is different. Every teacher has different passions, and so trying to force someone to do one way is not the way.
Yeah.
And perhaps 5 years ago we thought it was, but actually it is, and it's not. Like having a plan is good, and some people just need a plan, which you've provided. Also, some people just need freedom to go and do whatever they want to do with gardening in their school.
Yeah.
So how to get kids gardening means celebrating what's already being done.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, we're going to come in and fix. Instead of the King, Titchmarsh and Beckham coming in and going, we're going to save gardening for kids.
Yeah.
The kids are already doing it.
We just need to celebrate them successes.
We've seen it, haven't we?
Yeah, oh definitely, 100%.
You on the way out today, you saw it on the down there with the tomato. They're doing it.
Yeah.
They need to be celebrated for it.
Yeah. And another thing that right at the start of this whole thing was Parliament. Like you guys already know about this because I've spoke to you about it, but I was hoping to get into number 10, and we had conversations on email about, we might be able to meet the Prime Minister, and then in the end they were like, actually doesn't quite work for us right now. And it's all for me, like a long time I've been like, get in the curriculum, and actually we just need to direct a little bit within the curriculum. And for it to get in the curriculum, and I've said this for a long time, we're talking tens of years down the road before we can change that. It's such a big task. And so when industry are saying we need to get more kids gardening, that's our time. That's our time now to fund it, show how it's done.
The industry the industry does not need to wait for.
So my point I'm trying to make.
It doesn't need to wait.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Literally, you took the words out of my mouth. I've done a lot of listening this week, a lot of listening, and I think you're exactly right. Exactly what I was going to say. I promise you.
But you're exactly right.
You
worked it out.
Yeah, I worked out before you. We're talking years and years for curriculum to actually. We all know how government works. It takes a lot of time, and hey, of course it does, right? But as an industry, when we're talking about getting more children gardening, supporting our future, literally the future people that are going to go into careers in horticulture, when we're talking about that as an industry, we now need to fund things like this, other things that are going to interest kids and get them excited about gardening to begin with. And this is the time to do it. We need to make the effort and the investment in the future gardeners of this country. We've got an audience as well that we can't show you, but they're waving to us.